Of the many types of folk tales and literary tales that have enthralled people through the ages, scary stories have a special appeal. Whether you believe in ghosts and ghouls or not, you've probably had goosebumps sitting around a campfire listening to an urban legend, or relaying a favorite jump scare under the blanket fort. Scary stories are timeless. My name is Liz, the Cosbrarian. Over on TikTok, I've grown a wonderful following of folks who like their folk and fairy tales scary, dark, weird, funny, or maybe even a little sexy. Thus, the series Fucked Up Fairy Tales with Liz was started. But in October, I switched things up a little bit, and the series becomes Fucked Up Scary Tales with Liz. Today I'm sharing 3 popular spooky tales. The first is by Washington Irving, though you may know the version called The Green Ribbon by Alvin Schwartz. The second is an old Jewish folktale that later influenced The Corpse Bride. And the third is The Cask of Amontillado by horror master Edgar Allan Poe. Interested in my sources or in need of a content warning? Check out the show notes in the description below. But most of all, welcome to Fucked Up Fairy Tales with Liz. Fucked Up Fairy Tales with Liz. If you adored and/or were traumatized by Alvin Schwartz's The Green Ribbon, maybe you'd like to hear an older version that's both hornier and utterly bleak. I'm sharing Washington Irving's Adventure of a German Student tonight on Fucked Up Scary Tales with Liz. Thank you, Doodlebop, for that much better title of my Spooky Stories series. Because if you're new here, usually I do fairy tales, but this month I'm doing scary tales. Alright, let's get into it. On a dark and stormy night, a German student named Gottfried Wolfgang was wandering the city of Paris when he met a woman who would profoundly impact his life. You see, Gottfried's friends had encouraged him to take this trip because he was a lonely, intellectual type. He studied metaphysics, and he was getting way too into his own head. And his head was a very dark place. How you doing, Gottfried, my man? How am I doing? Well, every day I'm cursed to rot in this flesh prison. I'm being tortured by literal fiends who haunt my mind. The complexities and mysteries of the universe are too big to comprehend. And yet, I can't stop staring into the abyss and pondering the question, why? So, nothing new. Sounds like you need a vacation. I could set you up at a cute flat in Paris for a bit. I have heard Paris is lovely this time of year. The problem was, this time of year in Paris happened to be the reign of terror, and the streets were literally running with the blood of anyone who pissed off the tribunal. Understandably, it turned out not to be a fun place to be hanging out. So Gottfried spent his entire time there as a recluse. Most of his vacation he spent between 2 activities. At the library, obsessively reading any dusty old book by a dead philosopher he could find, and wildly fantasizing about women he was too insecure to actually talk to. Bonjour, monsieur. Saving that for the spank bank later. What? Did I say that out loud? He fantasized in particular about a woman he believed had appeared to him in a dream. A highly idealized, too perfect, otherworldly beauty. He was kind of driving himself mad, so intense was he fantasizing about this mythical woman. Back to our opening line. One night, as he was walking home, he found himself caught in a storm, and he accidentally found himself wandering by the site of the bloody guillotine. Ah! But as he turned away to get the hell out of there, he noticed a woman cowering on the steps. She appeared to be of the aristocracy, and she was soaked to the bone and shivering. As he approached her, she caught his eye, and Gottfried was astonished to see the very face that had haunted his wet dreams. My lady, what brings you to this terrible place, and in such a horrendous storm? Please, let me escort you to a nearby friend for shelter. The woman pointed to the guillotine wildly. I have no friend on earth. Do you have a home I can escort you to? Yes, in the grave. So you'd think with his fixation on hauntings and the metaphysical, that Gottfried's hairs would be rising on his neck. But there was only one thing on Gottfried that was rising that night. I hope this doesn't give you the wrong idea, but perhaps you'd care to be escorted to my own flat? I myself am a stranger in this land, and I seek no impertinence, but rather wish to be of service to a soul in need. All right. Thank you. He led her by the arm to his home, much to the shock of his landlady, who had never seen a woman cross the threshold before. Once he had her upstairs, he was a little embarrassed about his stodgy bachelor pad, But his companion didn't seem to mind, and in fact she had relaxed a lot. And now Gottfried really took in how gorgeous she was. Wild raven tresses, huge mournful eyes, snow-white skin, a dress that revealed the symmetry of her body, and a big black velvet choker on her neck. She was essentially a goddess of the Tim Burton universe, and she wasn't just a looker. Oh, you're studying Aristotle. You're a scholar of his work? I've pored over his words and ideas many times. You're not like other girls. Her stunning looks, combined with their mutual intellectual interests, led him to lay his desires bare. My lady, I can hide it no longer. I have loved you long before I met you. Your face has haunted my dreams for weeks. I can't sleep, so fervently have I wished for you to be in my arms. And now you're here, and I can't believe my dream has come true. How curious. I felt an instant connection myself when our eyes met. You know, I was going to offer to find another place to stay tonight for propriety's sake. Oh, propriety. Such a gauche and old-fashioned concept. Yes! For clearly, you and I are one united soul, though we may be encased in two separate bodies. Well, come a little bit closer, baby, 'cause tonight is the night that two become one. Take my hand, my lady. I pledge myself to you forever. Forever? Forever. Then I am yours. And then, they fucked. The next morning, Gottfried left his lover in bed and went out to inquire about getting a flat that was more suitable for a couple. When he returned, he found his lover unconscious, pallid, and slumped over the bed in an unnatural fashion. He took her hand and found it cold and bloodless. It was clear she was dead. Oh no! Summon the police! An officer entered the flat. Sacre bleu! How did this woman get here? What do you mean? She walked here with me last night. Impossible! This woman was guillotined only yesterday. With that, the officer reached out and unclasped the choker from around the woman's neck, and the men watched as her head rolled to the ground. Ah! The fiend! The fiend who has haunted me! Officers, I need backup. This man has clearly escaped the asylum. And the asylum is where Gottfried spent the rest of his short and tortured life. The end. This story is available online if you'd like to read it. It's really enjoyable and short. I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you sometime soon for the next scary story. Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride has a theme that permeates a lot of folktales. What if you were married to a dead lady? But the movie drew inspiration from a specific Jewish folktale from the 16th century. Burton unsurprisingly eschewed all Jewish elements of the folktale, which is a disappointment. But at your request, I'm here to tell the tale tonight. I've adapted my version from the one Howard Schwartz retold in Lilith's Cave, Jewish Tales of the Supernatural, and it's called The Finger. Welcome to Fucked Up Scary Tales with Liz! Ah! Once long ago, in the city of Safat, 3 young men were making merry. One of them, named Reuven, was to be married the next day, and so they were in great spirits. They ran about the forest in the moonlight, skipped rocks in the river, and were generally joking around a lot. Then one of them noticed what looked like a finger bone sticking out of the ground. Now, someone being buried so close to the surface is not a joking matter, but the boys had a buzz that just couldn't be harshed. They jested that someone should put their ring on the finger, and Reuven stepped up. I'm the first of us getting hitched, after all. Reuven slipped the ring on the finger and even pronounced the sacred marriage vows 3 times as was required. But as the boys laughed at the sight of Reuven engaging himself to a finger bone, the finger twitched and began to stretch out of the ground. To the horror of Reuven and his friends, the ground shook and opened up, and a decaying woman rose up wearing nothing but her burial shroud, with her arms outstretched to Reuven. My husband, how I have longed for you! Ah! The men turned tail and ran through the forest as fast as possible. Neither thorns nor thickets could stop them. For the whole way home, they heard the wailing of the dead woman behind them. When the men reached home, they looked much worse for wear, but at least they were safe behind their locked doors. But Reuven couldn't get away from that gal so easily. The next morning, before Reuven's wedding, the 3 men met up and decided not to disclose anything about the occurrences with the corpse bride the night before. We disrespected the dead, which doesn't look great. We ran away like a bunch of babies, also not great. Most importantly, we raised some kind of zombie bride lady? So yeah, we're taking this secret to our graves, boys. Ugh, pun not intended. The wedding was a very large affair because both Reuven and his betrothed came from wealthy, important families. So quite a crowd was there to observe the horrifying shriek that broke out right before the ceremony was about to begin. Everyone turned in horror and gasped to see the corpse bride running down the aisle in her worm-eaten burial shroud. Almost everyone ran away on sight, including Reuven's betrothed. Only Reuven and the rabbi stood their ground. Though Reuven was frozen in shock, and the rabbi was the only one really maintaining any composure. Ma'am, what on earth brings you out of your final resting place to crash this wedding? I'm here because my husband apparently isn't satisfied with the woman he married last night. Reuven, is this true? I mean, some parts? Did you put a ring on her finger? Yes. Did you pronounce the sacred marriage vow 3 times? Yes. And was it done in the presence of witnesses? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to convene the rabbinic court to suss this one out. Because you did marry her, Reuven. You married this dead lady on the eve of your wedding. And he fainted. My dear, are you sure you want to marry this man? He'll do. The rabbi took the next few days to thoroughly investigate the circumstances between Reuven and the corpse bride. He could find no precedent for such an unusual situation, so it was gonna be on him to set one. On the day the rabbinic court convened, the rabbi brought up all parties involved in the wedding to question them and determine what to do. He started with the corpse bride herself, who verified the marriage ceremony that had taken place at her resting place. Reuven's friends verified it as well. Reuven himself also verified it, but you must annul the marriage because the vows were said in jest. Corpse bride, would you consider giving up your claim for Reuven's hand? No, I want this thing consummated. Ugh. Show some respect to your dead wife, son. Tell me more, my dear. I was killed before I could get married and before I could enjoy the wedding night. I want the joy that was owed to me. Give me that sweet D, Reuven. That is a passionate argument. And despite the dirty jokes, very sad. We will not forget the gravity of your situation. All right, next I'd like to speak to the parents of Reuven and his fiancée. You can't let this dead lady have my son. The betrothal of our 2 families predates his graveyard shenanigans. It goes back before the children were even born. We agreed that if one of our families bore a son and the other a daughter, that they would wed and secure our families together. The rabbinic court argued about things for a while, but eventually they came to a decision. Reuven's vows to the corpse bride are valid in the eyes of the court. Yes! But... Oh no, no buts! The early betrothal of him to his fiancée cannot be denied. That, combined with the fact that Reuven's intentions were not true, in addition to zero precedent existing for a case like this, leads me to declare that the marriage of Reuven to the corpse bride is null and void. No! The corpse bride was devastated. With a mournful wail, she collapsed, and all semblance of life was drained out of her. I'm so relieved! And Reuven fainted again. Sensitive gent, isn't he? All right, let's get this dead woman buried properly so she can rest. She's been through enough, yes? And let's get Reuven and his girl married so those 2 kids can, get that sweet D. Nope. Regretted it as soon as I said it. The end. The 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could. But when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. I am Montresor, and this is a wildly abridged version of Edgar Allan Poe's The Cask of Amontillado. Welcome to Fucked Up Scary Tales with Liz. Now, as I've been planning my revenge, naturally I have shown no ill will towards Fortunato. Because I'm a genius at deception. But even an idiot could figure out which trait of Fortunato's to use against him. See, the guy is horny for wine. I mean, I am too, but that's like his one thing. And I have a talent for many intellectual pursuits, such as revenge. So it was carnival season here in Italy, And the night I met up with my enemy to take him down for insulting me. If you don't recall how he insulted me, that's because I didn't tell you. And that's because it's none of your goddamn business. Wait, where was I? Oh yes, revenge. The night I met Fortunato, he was dressed up as a medieval jester. And let me tell you, there is nothing more satisfying than seeing your mortal enemy dressed up like the fucking clown he is. Monty, my man! Fortunato, I have never been happier to see you. So how's it hanging? Enjoying the party, the women, the wine? Funny you should mention wine. You know I love wine. I know, everyone knows that. Here's the thing, I believe a rare and particularly toit cask of Amontillado has come into my ownership. Whoa, Amontillado? Yes, Amontillado. Amontillado. Yes. Amontillado? Alright, I'm gonna shuffle us along here. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure it's worth what I paid for it. So I'm gonna bring in our buddy Lucchesi to help me figure it out. Lucchesi? That guy couldn't distinguish Amontillado from cooking sherry. Could we get some ointment for Lucchesi for that burn? Swing? You should be careful who you insult. You might piss off the wrong man someday. Besides, some people think that you and Lucchesi have the same amount of wine knowledge. What? Fuck Lucchesi. Take me to that wine. Oh no, I couldn't impose. You're not imposing. I'm just walking around the carnival drunk. Are you sure it's real damp down in my vault and you seem to have a cold? It's nothing. Further, the walls are completely encrusted in niter. It could upset your delicate system. I'm fine. Seriously, don't take Lucchesi. That guy couldn't distinguish between Amontillado and cooking sherry. You literally just said that. Up top. It was at this point that I encased myself in a shroud of black silk. Because I'm a mysterious bitch. And I escorted Fortunato to my home. I knew no one would be there because I told my staff I wouldn't be back until morning, and I adamantly forbid them from leaving the house. So naturally they all left to party like a bunch of teenagers. I armed each of us with a torch, and we descended into the vault. So where's this Amontillado you spoke of? Further on. Maybe we should go back? No, I'm fine. Seriously, I won't die of a cough. I'm sure you won't. But in the meantime, let's have some wine. It will appease the dampness. Ooh, look at the white vein of the niter growing on the walls of the vault. The threads, how they shimmer. You're such a weirdo, Monty. A toast! I drink to those who rest within these vaults. And I drink to your long life. These vaults are so deep and roomy. Tell me about your family background. The Montresors are a great and numerous lot. You may have forgotten our family arms. A foot crushing a snake that has bitten him. Ooh, me like. And what's the family motto? Our family motto is, no one provokes me with impunity. Aggressive. Have you noticed how the deeper we walk into the vault, the more the niter hangs about us? What are you, like a geology nerd or something? No, I mean, kind of. I just think it's interesting that it looks like a spider's web that we keep getting pulled deeper in. Ugh, so boring. I'm gonna need more to drink if you're gonna keep this up. My pleasure. Bottoms up! What the hell was that? Are you not of the Brotherhood of Masons? Oh, yes, actually I am. Well, if you were really a Mason, you would have recognized our secret handshake. Well, maybe if you were less drunk, I'd be able to recognize what the fuck you're doing. I mean, do you even have a sign to identify you as a Mason? What am I, a woman at Comic-Con? Yes, I have a sign. This trowel. Nice, alright, you're the real deal. Foreshadowing. Okay, so this is weird. We seem to have reached a dead end. Whoa, look at the chains and the handcuffs on this wall. Monty, I didn't know you were such a kinky bastard. Doing it in the family vault? That is sick, dude. Wait a minute, why did you chain me to this wall? Can you not see how wrapped up in this web of niter you've become? I'm still not getting the niter thing. Ugh, it's a metaphor. Look, it's almost midnight, and I'm exhausted. I'm gonna head back. You coming with? I'm chained to the wall. Oh, so you're gonna hang back. All right, I'll see ya. But first, a dramatic reveal. So you just had that big pile of bricks and mortar hanging around? Evil bricklaying. Wait, was there even any Amontillado to begin with? Oh my god, would you shut up about the damn wine? Monty, I am suddenly way too sober for this. I'm way too sober for this. I'm freaking out here. Stop copying me. Oh shit. I may be having second thoughts. Oh no, you know what? It's just this dank atmosphere getting to me. Okay, almost done with this wall. Listen, Monty, it's a good joke. It's a great joke even. But I need you to stop anyway. Have mercy, man. My poor wife is at home waiting for me. For the love of God, Monty! Yes, for the love of God! Fortunato? Well, if you don't die from that cough, filling up this chamber with smoke might help you along. I love irony. Have a torch, you fucking clown. And then I finished the brick wall, and his body has been there ever since. Oh my god, Grandpa! You're a murderer! The end. Thanks for watching Fucked Up Scary Tales with Liz. If you enjoyed yourself, please like, comment, and subscribe. Want to listen to my tales in podcast form? Then you're gonna want to become a supporter of mine over at Patreon. Patreon subscribers can upvote tales I tell, get behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, and listen to Fucked Up Fairy Tales, the podcast. My next compilation of tales will air on October 18th. See you then for the next Fucked Up Fairy Tale. Fucked Up Fairy Tales with Liz.